Welcome to the LMS series of lecture from Collegiate and Technical Education Department, Karnataka State Government. Today I am discussing about solid waste management for the 6th semester of Civil Engineering branch, having subject code 18CV642, which is an elective. So in that I am taking up module 2, which is dedicated for processing techniques. My presentation in this session 2 is conceptualized into the contents: introduction, volume reduction by incineration, advantages of incineration, disadvantages of incineration, and the factors affecting incineration process. Introduction. Incineration can be defined as the controlled combustion process of burning the solid waste, solid or liquid waste, to get residue containing non-combustible or inert materials which can be taken to the ultimate disposal. Incineration is one of the chemical process used to reduce the volume of solid waste. This process is also called as chemical reduction process. The pictorial representation of the incineration unit is shown here. Further, we'll be discussing in detail. Chemical volume reduction, how the incineration helps us to reduce the solid waste to the appreciable quantity. The incineration is a waste treatment process that involves the combustion of organic substance contained in the waste material, or in the industrial plants. The waste incineration is also commonly referred as waste to energy facilities, wherein wherever the energy recovery is there, they will be getting the energy recovery from the waste to utilize this energy for the some other purpose in the industry. Incineration is a chemical reaction in which carbon, hydrogen, and other elements in the waste mix with oxygen in the combustion chamber, and they generate heat. At present, it is one of the common method used to reduce the volume of waste chemically, and this chemical process, other chemical process such as pyrolysis, hydrolysis, and chemical conversion are also very much effective in reducing the volume of this solid waste. Normally, all the combustible matters such as garbage, rubbish, and other remains of the animal dead bodies are burnt, and the incombustible matters like chinaware, glassware, metals, etc. are left unburned and separated out for recycling, or that can be reused before burning the solid waste. The air requirements for combustion of solid waste are considerable. For example, approximately 5,000 kgs of air is required for every ton of solid waste that is to be burnt. Usually, the excess air is supplied to the incinerator to ensure complete mixing and also the combustion of the solid waste, and also to regulate operating temperature and also control the emissions. The excess air requirements, however, differ with moisture content of the waste, heating values, and types of the combustion technology which are employed. So therefore, the quantity of air will be decided by the content, the moisture content which is present in the waste. Higher the moisture content, so higher will be the air requirement, and it also depends on the heating value, that is the energy value in the waste. So based on that also, you're going to get the excess air that is going to be supplied. The principal gas products of the combustion are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water vapor, oxygen, and oxides of nitrogen, etc. etc. So many incinerators are designed to operate in the combustion zone of 900 degrees centigrade to 1100 degrees centigrade. So this temperature is selected to ensure a complete combustion and also the elimination of odor, and with respect to the protection of the incinerator swards. So incinerator system are designed to maximize the burning of waste and also to get the energy, that is the heat, to the maximum. output, while minimizing the emissions by balancing the oxygen and other T's, the time, temperature, and turbulence. Ultimately, whatever the emission we are getting out of this incineration process are are to be actually um, um, screened, and the minimum pollutant should be actually get into the atmosphere, allowed into the atmosphere. The complete incineration of solid waste produces virtually an inert residue which constitute only the 10% of the initial weight, and perhaps the it will be leading to the larger reduction of the volume. So this residue is generally going to be landfilled. So here the pictorial presentation of the entire process of incineration is given here. Whatever that mixed waste will be taken to the this incineration plant, wherein all the recyclables, reusables are taken out, and the commingled waste, that which cannot be recycled, will be dumped into this preliminary chamber. So from this chamber, so waste will be batch wise fed into the combustion chamber, wherein the temperature ranges from 900 degree to 1100 degree centigrade. So here the excess air will be supplied, and if it is not containing much of the energy values, then external oil is also going to be used to completely burn the waste. Or otherwise, if it is self flammable, the energy is there, then so no need to supply any external oil for the combustion. So here the after the complete combustion, uh, the hot air will be actually entering into the boiler chamber, and the ash, which the converted ash, will be collected on the grate. There are different types of grates are available. So if it is a fixed grate, on the fixed grate, whatever the residue or the remains of the this burning is there, that will be actually that will be deposited here. Later on, it will be taken out as the bottom ash. Then whatever the hot air, hot gas which is coming out of this combustion chamber is going to enter the boiler chamber, wherein the water pipe tubes will be there. They heat it and they convert it to the steam. That steam can be further used to run the steam turbines, thereby the electricity can be generated. And again, from the boiler, whatever the exhaust gas comes out, which contains the particulate matters, and also the small particles which are in suspension. So in order to remove that, so that will be allowed to pass through uh, the cleansing mechanism, wherein you have the electrostatic precipitators or bag houses. So there the particulate matters will be collected, and after removing this particulate matter to the maximum of 99%, so whatever the emission is there, that emission will be connected to the chimney. So wherein the certain height of the chimney will dispose this the emission into the atmosphere, and the whatever the ash, the fly ash, which is collected here from the ESP or other bag houses, will be actually taken out, and that fly ash can be further processed, and if it is recyclable, that can be recycled for the or reused for the some other useful products. So or otherwise, if it is totally not used, then it will be going to be landfilled. So the chemical volume reduction is a method wherein volume reduction occurs through chemical changes brought within the waste, either through addition of chemicals or changes in the temperature. Incinerator is the most commonly used method to reduce the volume of the waste chemically, um, and is used both for volume reduction and also power production. Cogen factories, wherever the industries are there, industrial waste will be effectively used to convert that into the production of the power. So these other chemical methods used to reduce the volume are, again, as I said earlier, the pyrolysis, hydrolysis, or chemical conversion. Prior to the volume reduction, uh, uh, the the component of the waste that is going to be separated before feeding into the chamber. So to avoid the problem of sorting, see, recyclables from the mixed or the compressed lumps of the waste, the poor quality of recyclable materials are sorted out of the compaction vehicles. So there are various types of incinerator plant, uh, moving grade type, fixed grade type, or rotary kiln type, or the fluidized bed type of incinerators are in practice. So uh, in order to discuss all these things, just one by one we'll be taking up. So burning pile is the simplest the form of incinerators. So here the simple mound of waste will be created, and after that it will be burnt openly. So the whatever the atmospheric oxygen is there, that is sufficient to burn the waste, a heap of waste which is collected. Burn barrel. So burn barrel is somewhat more controlled form of the private waste incinerators, containing burning material inside of the metal barrel with a metal grating over the exhaust. The barrel prevents the spread of the burning materials in the windy conditions, and is the combustible reduced to the ashes, and that will be taken out from the lower part of the barrel. So moving grade types. So this type of incinerators are used for the municipal solid waste, uh, which is having a moving grades. So the moving grade enables the movement of the waste through the combustion chamber to be optimized to allow the more efficient and complete combustion of the waste. The continuous feeding will be there. So therefore, so moving grades facilitates the movement of the whatever the residue that will be collecting, and thereby allowing the fresh batch of the waste to be again fed into the system. So the fixed grade, so the older and simpler kind of incinerators, which are having the brick lined cell with a mixed metal grade, fixed metal grade over a lower ash pit. So with one opening in the top, and on the other side you have the loading window. So therefore the continuously the batch wise, so the waste will be fed, and whatever the residues we are getting as the incombustible solids and the clinkers, that will be collected on the grade, and that will be taken out. So another type of incinerators which is in use is the rotary kiln. The rotary kiln incinerators are used for the municipalities which are having the larger fraction of the waste which is having industrial waste. So this design of incinerators has two chambers, one a primary chamber, another one is the secondary chamber. In the primary chamber, the rotary kiln is adopted, and inclined bed will be there. So the whatever the waste which is fed into the rotary kiln will be burnt, and that the residue will be collected through the inclined bed, and later on that will be taken out. So the another very important type of incinerator is the fluidized bed. A strong airflow is forced into the sand bed. A sand bed will be um, having a large number of pores. So therefore, air seeps into the sand bed, and when it reaches the complete saturation, then uh, uh, the waste will be fed into the chamber. So where the churning occurs, and that will be creating a scene of fluidized bed, and thereby waste will be effectively actually burnt. Uh, Other the specialized type of incinerators also in practice. So usually the furniture factories which getting a large quantity of sawdust are actually used uh, in this the special type of incinerators, where the many flammable substance will be there in along with the sawdust. So there you can use this the specially designed incinerators. So the whatever the heat will be getting out of this incinerators are going to be used effectively for the generation of the power, and hence the in most of the industrial plants where the waste is having some energy value will be actually taken as the raw material, and power will be produced which can actually useful for the same plant. So to quote the net energy what we are getting out of the a ton of municipal waste, here the two-thirds of megawatts of the electricity will be generated after burning 1 ton of municipal solid waste. The pollution, the incineration is not devoid of the pollution. Definitely, it will going to have some um, um, uh, way pollutants which will be coming out of this burning process. So we will be getting ash and also emission, which is containing this the flue gas containing some uh, gases which are actually uh, harmful for the health. So those actually gases will be actually cleansed through the flue gas cleansing system. So where the probably we are getting dioxins and furans, cell oxides of sulfur and uh, uh, heavy metal, the fraction of the heavy metal will be getting. So that the flue gas will be completely cleansed through the appropriate system of cleansing mechanism. So the gaseous emissions, uh, as I said, so the probably the dioxins and the furan emissions, which are most serious health hazard pollutants. So those are to be actually controlled in a very effective and scientific manner. So the breakdown of toxin requires exposure of the molecular ring to a sufficient high temperature so as to trigger thermal breakdown of the strong molecular bonds holding it, so that the small piece of fly ash may be somewhat thick and too brief to expose to the high temperature may only degrade dioxin on the surface of the ash. So the toxins will be adhering to the surface of the physical process, we can call it as. Through that, you can just remove the dioxin cracking. Dioxin cracking in practice, the temperature needed to break down the dioxin are typically not reached when burning plastics which are in the outdoor. Hence, either in the burn barrel or garbage pail, which is not possible. So, therefore, the usually that will be in the incinerator process in the control system that can be controlled and cleansed. But when you burn in the open burning method, so then that they will create a lot of health problems. So CO2, the carbon dioxide is another very important emission what we are getting out of this combustion. So the almost the MSW approximately contains about 27% of the carbon dioxide when you burn 1 ton of municipal solid waste. This is because the it contains maximum organic material. So that's why you will be getting carbon dioxide to the maximum extent when it is completely burnt. So other emissions, other gaseous emissions are which are in the form of flue gas or the sulfur, oxides of the sulfur and oxides of the nitrogen at the elevated temperature. So therefore, these are all again scrubbed through the appropriate technology to remove these emissions, and then the completely after bringing the emission standards to the permissible limit, then they will be allowed to pass through the chimney, and that will be mixing with the atmospheric air. So as I said, uh, the pollutants in the flue gas from the incineration plants may or may not be reduced by the several process depending upon the plant. The particulate is collected by particle filtration. Most often ESPs are or the baghouse are going to be used. Solid and liquid outputs what we are getting out of this is the incineration process is the fly ash as the solid fraction, and bottom ash little bit higher size that will be collected on the grate and that will be taken. So therefore the total amount of fly ash, our total amount of ash produced by the municipal solid waste comes out to be 4 to 10% by volume or 15 to 20% by weight of the original quantity. So So that needs to be actually thought about how to make use of this ash uh, so that the burden on the dumping site or the landfill site can be reduced. So the advantages of this incineration process are uh, they will going to completely reduce the volume to the greater extent, and hence they are more effectively used. So therefore, they will going to reduce the burden on the landfill to the greater extent, and also they will going to reduce the pollution risk if you really control the flue gas and check the emission standards. So the overall the incinerator process is going to be more effective in controlling the this waste. So therefore the incineration of MSW produces a relatively large amount of ash. So as I said, so therefore the 4% can be easily secured in the landfill. So incineration could reduce the to the recyclable, because when you, in the commingled waste, if you are not properly segregating these recyclables, then ultimately the value of the recyclables will be actually taken along with this commingled waste. So therefore, the whatever the incentives they're likely to get for these recyclables will not be actually offered by this incineration process. So the energy content of the waste with all recyclable components is removed, which is less than the unsegregated waste. So incineration plants have a large initial capital cost, and therefore the the initial investment for the installing these incineration plants will be much higher as compared to the other methods of disposal facilities. So the three important T's which are affecting the incineration process are time, temperature, and turbulence. So the time of exposure of this waste for the complete combustion will be actually more effectively decides the efficiency of the incineration process, and the control temperature in which the waste will be burnt. It requires wherein usually it ranges from 950 to 1100 degree centigrade. So this temperature range ensure adequate combustion. Uh, so therefore this range of the temperature will be continuously maintained. The turbulence ensures the complete mixing of the total volume of the waste, so that the complete burning will be taking place. So overall, these three T's will help in complete combustion process of the waste. Here, the some of the references which are used to create this content are the George Somonaglas from the book Integrated Solid Waste Management, published by the McGraw-Hill Publishing House. The another handbook of solid waste management by the author Sobono and Frank Creeth, published by the McGraw-Hill Publishing House. The websites for the internet content, the websites referred are the NPTEL website and also www.sanfoundry website, which is used. Thank you.